So 1974 Plymouth Stolen Valor Satellite, badged up to be a Roadrunner. Oh man. But hey, let's not knock it. It's still a great car. To even find Mopar, I was grateful to even grab this one up. Mopar getting so hard to find even for me. I mean, we've been through a lot of Mopar in this shop, but they're starting to get few and far between. And when I find them, you know, it brings a smile to my face, and it lights up my day. My heart starts pounding and everything else. And that's exactly why I grabbed up this car. So story is, I went down to my buddy's close to the shop here, and he's a Mopar guy. And he has a 69 Charger that he had since the 1980s. And he has this car. So obviously we hit it off pretty good, being car guys and Mopar guys and all that stuff. So I went down there just to see how he was doing. And he had this car. This was like a daily driver for him. He parked it in the backyard. And I'm like, hey Bob, what's going on? Is your car broken or something? He's like, no, I decided that I don't want to drive it anymore because the insurance was so high. And I was like, oh really? Why would you just park it and not sell it? He goes, no, I do want to sell it. So I was like kind of blown away, because he's had this car for, I don't know, I'm going to look at the title, but it's one of them old school titles. I'm thinking he had this car for 20 plus years. And he told me he used to drive it to Florida all the time. And he pulled a trailer behind it and took it to Florida. Just one of those cool old school stories that you hear about all the time. So anyway, we made a deal on it. Took it back. Jaden and I grabbed it. You see that in the footage. And only thing is, I don't know what to show you guys because it runs and drives. There isn't no sitting behind out in the woods for 20 years trying to get it driving. There's nothing like that. But it's just a 318 car. It's you got an exhaust leak on it. I mean, it's got a 4-barrel Holly on it, but it runs like crap. Very minimal rust. I'll show you where the rust is, and maybe we'll fix that. I'm still kicking that one around. We'll obviously clean it up because it's kind of nasty, and we'll make it as presentable as we can. So just because it's a satellite definitely doesn't mean it doesn't need love. They all need love, and this one is definitely a great candidate. So still a great car, just not a Roadrunner, just cloned as one. So let's do a walk around. So let's start off in the front. Everything's great. Only thing I don't like about these cars, and I don't want to knock it at all, guys. I do love any old car. But one thing that kind of turns me off about all the safety stuff that they started doing in this time frame, 74. I mean, it happened a couple years before that. But these bumpers, rubber bumper pushers, man, those things look so freaking ridiculous, in my opinion. So we may take those off. We still got the old school, if you see those deer. He says they work too. I was laughing. I said, are those deer sensors? He's like, yeah, that's exactly what they are. I'm like, that's funny. So I may take those off. I don't know. I may leave them on. Who knows? But anyway, it's got the cool Roadrunner style hood on it. It's really great shape. The whole car, I mean, even underneath, it's not bad. It's got a few rust spots here and there. I'll show you the bad area here in a second. But, you know, just your great running, never fail, 318, 4-wheel car. Looks like it's got aluminum intake on it. He does have the original exhaust manifolds, which I don't know if I'm going to take those off or not, but it does have an exhaust leak on it, so it's kind of annoying. Definitely, I'm sure, needs a tune-up. You know, who knows when's the last time got plugs and all that crap, but we'll address that as we go. So 318, let's see, RH VIN. And back when I've known Bob for a couple years, just from being the Mopar guy that he is, and I knew this car was a satellite because when it was in his driveway and we started talking about when I first met him, the first thing I did is look at the VIN, And I said, is that a real Roadrunner, Bob? He's like, yeah, that's a real Roadrunner. And I'm like, oh, let me check out let me look for that RM VIN code. Sure enough, RH. So it's the second best. But it's all good, you know. They did a good job on it. I mean, it does look like a, you know, like a decent Roadrunner. But, you know, then you start seeing the column shift. And he put the rally gauges in it. You know, that always looks good. But he put the Roadrunner on the dash. Bucket seats. That's always nice with the nice purple carpet to match the blue exterior. We got white interior. Spray painted doors and stuff like that to really make that Roadrunner pop. It's all good. All good. Not even knocking it. The basket paint job is actually pretty legit. I'm kind of digging on it. They did a decent job on it, whoever did it. We got the Keystone rims, which always make a Mopar look good, in my opinion. Keystone slots, Kragers. I always enjoy seeing those. I mean, and of course, obviously the Magnums, you know, but that's all the original stuff. I'm talking for like aftermarket. In my opinion, they always pop. So we got the push bumpers back here. I'm thinking about dropping these, just make it look a little cooler. We got the Plymouth Roadrunner satellite. I am a satellite, but I want to be a Roadrunner sticker. That's all right though. Let's pop the trunk, see what we got. So as you can see, the trunk's pretty nasty. Got a few Keystone rims in the back with Krager caps, which really pop. But one thing he did give me, and everybody knows what that is the Roadrunner horn. So that's always a bonus. I love finding those things. Gave me the traction bars. I'm thinking about throwing the traction bars on it, make it look more nostalgic. The cars always look good, in my opinion, when they got them old school traction bars. So we'll clean out the trunk today. We'll clean out the interior. I might take it out, get it pressure washed. We'll kind of go through and just feel out the car today. Just kind of see, you know, what the deal is with it, and just kind of see what it wants. Let me show you the bad part. Get off this rambling. So you've seen the car, looks good, yada yada. Not really not that bad. Here's the part that hurts, and I'm kicking around just fixing this. So when I first tried opening this door, Bob's eyes lit up, and he was like, "Don't open the door!" Bam. So the pillars, it's so funny. Mopars always rust out in the, usually with the cars I pull, frame rails, right? In the back. Every once in a while, the cross, the one that goes on the trans, right in that area. This car here is the first Mopar where the whole car is completely legit with a couple little spots. You know, it's not 100%, but it's pretty legit car. I mean, all the quarters are legit in it. The frame rails are all legit. But the freaking pillar right here, where the hinge goes, just the top too, just the top, it just ripped out from water leaking down in there. So I may take the fender off and, you know, do this car a little bit of justice, because like I said, I mean, you guys check it out. Look at the rockers. I mean, not bad at all. Even on the bottom hinge, you know, the bottom hinge looks legit. So, anyway, that's the story in a nutshell. I think both doors are doing it. I didn't even open the passenger door. I've been having Jaden go through the window. But I used to ask him, I was like, Bob, because he's an older dude. And I'm like, how the hell, when you get in, you shut the door? And that's when it all came to me. So he shut the door, he put this gnarly strap on the bottom. So when you shut the door, you do a lifty poo right here. I mean, and you're ripping. So that's how we did it. And I was sitting there going through the window because I didn't know how he shut the door. So I was Dukes of Hazzard in this thing all, you'll see it in the video. So anyway, let's do the let's vacuum her out. Let's get her a little bit clean. You know I can't work when the thing's nasty, and we'll go from there. So we got it all vacuumed out. We took the carpet out, the green fake grass carpet, and I found a couple patch panels, but you know, still not even really a deal breaker for me on this one. Thing doesn't look like it may have had quarters in it. I can't, yeah, I kind of see it may have. I don't know, who knows. Anyway, not too bad though for what it is, and for as long as he's had it, so we'll keep on pushing. So guys, I'm a car guy, and I hate being greasy. So when I work on these cars, I like them as clean as possible. That's why you see me cleaning them, vacuuming them, washing them before I even get down and dirty with the car. So I'd like to thank Super Clean and Jessica and her staff for supporting and sponsoring this 1974 Plymouth video. And what I do like about this stuff is, one, it works. We all know that. We're car guys. If it didn't, I wouldn't be pushing it to you. And two, it's biodegradable, so I can do it right in the yard and I ain't got no problems. So let's put it on, let's see what she does, and we'll see how this thing turns out. Well, that completely backfired on me. As soon as I hit it with the pressure washer, the car stopped. This car runs, but it runs like crap. It needs a tune-up, it needs plugs, wires, cap, rotor. Exhaust manifold's leaking. It needs a carb, or needs a carb rebuild. And that's what we're gonna do with this thing. We're gonna get her running, get her right again. And because I mean, it is a little 318, but it should still get down a little bit, you know, for a 318, dude. Don't get me wrong here. But of course, it wanted to die. So now we're gonna wait another 30 minutes, and whatever got wet, I don't even know what I hit, and she'll start. We'll pour her back in the shop, and we'll start cranking her apart. So sure enough, half hour to start up. I don't even know what I hit. I'm thinking I hit, these wires are so dang brittle. I don't know. Because as soon as I put the pressure washer down that side, that was the end of it. The coil's over here, distributor's back there, it just stopped. And then it wouldn't start. And why are these freaking these yellow flies want to bite the bottom of your ankles? Why is that? So I'm going to see if this Super Clean will freaking destroy yellow flies too. I'm gonna have that on hand, because that's some bull crap every time I come out here. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull the plugs both sides, see how bad those things are. We'll redo the wires, we'll redo the cap rotor. I always like to take those coils off, which this one's held in by toothpicks, so I'm sure that works really good, gives it extra spark, and makes it run really well. So we're going to take that off. I'm gonna probably get a new coil for it. I always mount those away from the motor. That's just my personal preference. I know the engineers at Mopar knows that they've had them on the motors, the engines for years, and they work great, I'm sure, and they've all tested it and all that. I just like heat is always the biggest enemy. And I always like to just run them away from the engine, so I always mount them on the firewall. Now this one, since it's a 74, there's a lot of crap on the firewall. There's a lot of crap by the radiator, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that as of yet, but we'll find somewhere. No doubt I'll run it right on the inner fender or something. I don't know. It's got an exhaust leak, as you guys know. I don't know. I'm almost kicking around going for headers on this thing if I want to go down that road. I don't know if it's leaking out the donut or if it's leaking out the exhaust gaskets itself right off the block. I don't know, or off the heads. Not sure. I haven't got that far. That Holley sucks right now, and I love Holley, by the way, but that carburetor is sucking. So probably get that off. Don't even know what size it is. Hopefully you didn't put more than a 600 or a 650 on this thing, because it is just a 318. That's probably all stock. Don't sound like it's got any cam in it or anything crazy. So I don't know if we'll just get a new carb or just rebuild that one. Who knows? Haven't got that far yet. So let's start cranking out plugs. I'll pull out both sides, let you guys see how bad they are, and then we'll just kind of work our way from there. I don't see anything really, I don't see really too much that I'm gonna change. I think the whole end game of this 74 Plymouth Satellite is to, I mean, she runs. Transmission, I think, is leaking. Hopefully that's just off the pan. We could change that out. Definitely have to do those inner doors where the hinge is, because that's rotten. So we're going to cut that out, re-weld that hopefully. And that's it, man. We'll just see if we can get this thing running good again. Because really there ain't much to this one, this car. I can't say I pulled it out of the woods this time. I can't say it's been sitting for 20 years and hasn't started. This was in the back of my buddy's in his yard, but it was his daily for years, and he just parked it. So I mean, it fired right up and everything. So all right, I'll play my badass music you guys always love, and we'll fast forward it so you don't have to sit here and watch me do this for the next hour. And go ahead and leave me a bunch of comments about how my music sounded like porn. All right, later. Alright, so we're just going through wiring on this bad boy, and these cars are all the same, guys. Every one of them that I get, and you guys know I've had a few around here, they're all about wiring. Seems to be the big issue, and you know, just the basics. I gotta get in this bad boy here. I'll tell you right now, I don't feel comfortable with this battery connected, and I'm sitting right here on the fan. Let me disconnect this battery. But it's always the same on these old cars, you know, just so many people's hands been in them, and things are just spliced together. So I like to go through and just kind of clean up wiring as I go. My one pointer that I could give you when you start cleaning up wiring in a lot of these old cars is you need to start the car every so often. So like you clean up a few wires here and there, go ahead and, you know, see if she'll start. Do you know, 2-3 wires, whatever you're comfortable with, and fire back up. I don't know how many times I've cleaned up a bunch of wires, you know, putting them in the exact same spot that they went to before and made them better. And then I go and try to start these old pricks, and sure enough, now it won't start. And then you gotta sit there and figure out what went wrong. That's hard to say. What went wrong? You gotta figure out what went wrong. Then you gotta start back tracing. Then you might as well bust out your pen light, because you're gonna be playing that game for a while. So this one, and I'm already talking smack because I've probably cleaned up about 5 different wires, and I haven't started it yet because I don't have my plug wires hooked up. And domino effects, I always say that. You start one thing and then it leads another, it leads another. So here's an example. So this is just coil, right? You can see they spliced it right here to make a 3-inch wire, or it could be just broken, who knows. That's the negative coil, positive coil, and I'm going to bring that coil all the way around, put it somewhere on the firewall or something like that, just to get it off the motor. You got your butt spliced through the distributor wires, through the brake booster, some crazy bracket rig. This is the kind of stuff I'm telling you about, and they're all like this too. People get in a hurry or whatever, and they try to do a quick fix. Alright, this goes to the fuse box. I can see it's going through the firewall, whatever, that's fine. But here's what I'm talking about, and this is just the power wire for the electronic choke. So I like to clean up that kind of stuff. The porcelain, I always forget what these are called. You guys know, and I know too if I looked them up. I just always forget. The ballast. So the porcelain ballast here, you got a wire already broken, right? It's all the same, guys. I always like this. So I'm gonna splice that back in. You got this little rig here, all right? This went to the other side of the ballast, which is fine, but then this one broke already. And then you got this rig here. You know what I'm saying? And this is the kind of stuff, if you clean it up, these cars want to run so much better. They're getting full power, you know, stuff like that. And then I just zip tie. I don't get too crazy. I just like to zip tie them together and just clean them up, get them off the motor, you know, put them back up where they're supposed to be, stuff along those lines. So I should be done with that today. We'll get all the wires cleaned up. I'll start moving into the distributor wires. We got the plugs in yesterday. We'll change the cap, change the rotor. This Holly looks like it's seen better days. I got one out in the shop, same one. I think this is a vacuum secondaries, which I always like mechanical secondaries, but whatever. Just a 318. I'll throw my Holly on, which I know works. I've had it on a 76 D100, that red truck you see in some of my videos, and it worked fine. We'll do that today. We'll fire her back up, make sure everything starts. And that's about it for today for the motor. I'm gonna crank her up. I never looked under this car yet, and we'll do a tour of the underneath, see how that looks. And yeah, man, that'll be it for today. And wiring, no matter how fast you try to go, it takes forever. So it's just the name of the game. All right, here we go. Well, painting the ASS, but doing this all day, guys, beats working any day. I'll sit in these motors all day long, because to me this stuff really isn't work. This is more like have a good time. So, but pain in the butt. Wish I was a little younger doing this kind of crap, especially getting into motors, but it's okay. I go to the gym, so I'm good. All right, so we're gonna mount the coil, bring those two wires around, the positive and negative, and we'll keep on continuing. Alright, so you guys know the deal. If you've done these before, which these are really awesome wires when you cut them and do them yourself, but it's time consuming. So just take your time, pull one wire at a time. Obviously the coil wire, we all know that's the middle, so you can yank that, who cares? But do one wire at a time. So I always start from the front. Let's just say the boot's on. I kind of, you know, whatever your style is, I want to run mine right down the the valve cover, and then just bend over and grab this plug. So that's as long as I'm going to make it. And we'll probably do the zip tie wire trick, and then you can put as many as you want and get everything where you want them, which always works for me. Now when you do the boots, the hardest thing about these is the boots, in my opinion, in the little tool. So just make sure you get the I think I grabbed the wrong stuff, but it's like this little lube, and it'll allow this boot to slide over real easy. Now I've tried everything when I ran out of that stuff. I'd use WD-40. Alright, so all the wires are done. I do the old zip tie wire holders, which always work great for me, because you can put them where you want to, and then, you know, you always have plenty of zip ties. Let's see, we did the plugs, we did cap and rotor, we remounted the coil over to the side with firewall, which I always like to do for heat. Fixed a couple of the wires on the firewall, zip tied everything up. And there's one wire that I left undone. It's coming off the negative side of the battery and went to the starter relay. Now I'm thinking, since I fixed everything over here on the porcelain, golly, why do I always forget that name? Ballast resistor, I guess. Anyway, I fixed that. I'm thinking I don't need that wire anymore coming off the battery, because that's something that Bob did probably for a quick fix. So if it starts with all the wiring stuff that we did, I'm going to go ahead and take this carburetor off and change it out with the one I have out in the back. Mine's a little bit better. This one looks like it's seen better days, and it runs kind of like it needs a rebuild. So we'll do that, and let's see what happens. So cross your fingers. good on all the wiring. That means I could pull that one wire, start it up fine, backfired out the carb once. That carburetor, man. I can see, man, that exhaust leak's about annoying, ain't it? So we got that exhaust leak. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to fix that. We'll see. I was kicking around running headers on it, about $300. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe we'll do it later. But anyway, I don't have no issues with starting. That's always a big issue. That's always a big plus. We'll pull that last wire. We'll change out the carburetor. And kicking around, this was an AC car. I'm kicking around removing this bracket just because it looks, just for an eyesore, clean up the engine compartment a little bit. Then we'll throw it up and look underneath and see what we got going on. All right. So motors, engine's about as done as I'm gonna, you know, make it. We ended up putting a new Holley on it, just a little 600 right out of the box. The one I had I thought was gonna work, and then it ended up flooding. It was the overflow, and I knew it was an older car, and I don't really feel like jacking with it, so I just went up, bought a brand new Holley, you know, 300 bucks up at the auto parts store. And then you just know you got something. You ain't gotta sit there and rebuild it, wait for parts, and just be done with it. So put the dual snorkel on it. Comment, let me know if you guys know what that dual snorkel came off. These cars just had a single snorkel. Pretty sure, yeah. I know they did. So dual snorkel, just to dress it up a little bit. And this thing just, it's been sitting out in my parts shop for like my little shed with all my parts. And you know, I love using this stuff. I don't like hoarding things. I'm not a hoarder. I just like anything I find that I know I could use, I try to use it to put it back into play with these old cars. So we put the dual snorkel on, did all the plugs, did the wires of the cab, did the rotor, put a new gas filter on it, and she seems to be running pretty good. I think the only annoying thing in my opinion is that dang exhaust leak. So I'm gonna put her up in the air and let's see what she looks like underneath. I've never been under this car. I think I said that a few times. So, and then hopefully that exhaust leak is right at that little donut or the flange where it bolts into the exhaust itself and goes out to the back. Hopefully it's just loose and we could tighten it up and maybe you know, be done with that exhaust leak, because it's killing me and it's killing the car. So let's put her up in the air and see what we got. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take off the beep beep. Since this ain't a beep beep or a meep meep, this is just a straight satellite. And I'll throw that in the trunk, so if somebody did want it or whatever, they could have it. Or, you know what I should do? I should hang it on the wall. That'd even be cooler. We're gonna take off the bumper pushers, and I'll throw them in with the car. So, you know, because they do go with the car. I don't wanna, you know, throw them away or do anything like that. I try to keep the original parts together with the car. So let's see what we got here. So, you know, everything looks pretty normal like usual. Pan. Oh, I see why the pan's leaking. They got a little, somebody did a little fix it job right here. Got a hole in it. And the gasket's leaking a little bit, but nothing, you know, that's all normal stuff. So this is the one that's killing me. It's this exhaust right here. Good Lord, I think that's the smallest exhaust I've ever seen. So we'll try to get that fixed. But what is funny is the frame rails are perfect, no doubt, which I knew they were. Right in the Mopar rust belt itself, right in here. But these ones are perfect. Floor pans are good. Floor pan's good on this side, but here's how bad to the bone this car. What the frick? Oh my gosh, look at that. This exhaust is shot. So you get you get one muffler on this side with the putty, you know, the fix it yourself putty. That always works. And right here too, look at that, man, that's awesome. Worked out perfect. It's the Go Fast exhaust. And then on this side you get a nice glass pack, so you get 2 sounds for the price of 1. And then we're gonna run it all the way back. You got a little exhaust leak here, hole, and right out the back. So he put this makeshift ball hitch on here. That's gonna, man, that is just in the worst spot too. Because if you torch these off, you're right by the tank, and that's always a big no-no. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I may just have to leave it. I thought it was gonna be bolt on, but apparently it ain't. Unless you like slice it right here or something. That sucks. Alright, no big deal though. So, and we'll take the, if I can, I'd like to take these pushers off too. They look like they're buried up in there. They may not come off on this one without taking the whole dang car bumper apart and all that, and I don't feel like dealing with that. I'll get up, look in the trunk, and see. So that's it. Unfortunately, like I said, this is the little boy car. It's got the 8 1/4. Definitely not the 8 3/4. It kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. Still a cool car. I don't want to knock it too much. You got the hose clamps on this side. That's always cool. This exhaust needs to just be re-ran, is what it does, what it needs. All right, so that's the underneath. Not too bad. The exhaust sucks. That's about it, really, and that's really nothing. So we will put her down and start cranking some of these big old rubber push bar things out of it. I may have to take torches to it. Good luck trying to crank those off. But it'll look so much better when they're gone on these cars. Alright, that's her. Let's roll. Doors off. My buddy's sending me A-pillars off a 74 Charger or something like that. They're all the same. And hopefully it's only a hole about this big on that top hinge on each side. I'm hoping it don't start wrapping into the firewall and all that crap, crossing our fingers. But he's gonna send me a lot of meat around the that don't even sound right. So he's gonna put a lot of material around the hinge itself. So I mean, he's gonna cut it out wide, so as wide as he can. And then we'll tack weld it all in. I'll paint it with some PR15, whatever that crap is. Put the doors back on. Hopefully the doors shut and stay, you know, got a nice gap in them. Not trying to have the doors all jacked up. Slam the fenders back on. Put the front end back on. And then we'll go and see if we're gonna do the exhaust, or, you know, see if I can. The exhaust looks pretty shady. I don't know. That exhaust may get ripped off. And then from there, that'll be about it on this one. And we'll go for a cruise, see what she does. She seemed like she was a little peppy in the yard, but we'll take her on the road and see what happens. All right, later. Well guys, it went deep, way up into the freaking A pillar. Oh, I'm sure it's the same on both sides too. I went back and forth with, should I try to mess with it? Should I just freaking have fun with it as is? But we're at this point, we're deep, you know, I got all the stuff off. And what I'm gonna do is, the only thing I think that I'm a little butthurt about is I gotta pull the windshield to fix this little area here on both sides too. I wasn't planning on doing any windshield pulls. I think I get away with not pulling the dash or the heater box because it just seems to be like right in here. It's not pushed all the way back up in here like rust. But it's one of those things like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because you got to have doors that shut legit, not sag down and all that crap. So what I think I'm going to do is just kind of cut it out and just kind of work my way in. And my buddy Andy's gonna, like, I just sent him a picture, so I think he's gonna cut like off of a 70, like I said, Charger. I think he's gonna cut like a, if you could picture a box, and then I'll kind of just, honestly guys, I'm just kind of playing this one by ear. I don't like to get this deep into these cars, but I mean, I will do it if I have to, because it is a good car. It's not, this is like the only bad area in the car. And there's a couple little spots here and there, but just for a driver, and we're sorry about that guys, my dang GoPro went out. But anyway, batteries. But like I said, it deserves to get fixed, so we're just gonna slowly just kind of work our way in here and see if we can't seal up the inside of the like the firewall where the heater, little round heater vent comes down. And then we'll just kind of, you know, just kind of start welding that big piece that my buddy Andy's gonna send me. He's sending it out Tuesday, and we'll just weld it back in, and you know, we'll call it a day. So the windshield's my only downfall. If I didn't have to do that, I'd be good. But like I said, I think we're good on heater box. I think we're good on dash. I'm not gonna try to pull the dash out of it, and just, you know, start popping some tack welds in here, and then seal it all up, and I think it'll be a good, you know, be a good fix. So here we go. Wish me luck. Well guys, I like going in deep. but I wasn't planning on going in this deep. But we're gonna get it right though. We got the pieces coming from Alabama from my buddy Andy. As soon as we get them next week, we're gonna weld in these A-pillars. We're gonna get these doors swinging the way they're supposed to be and not opening them up and hitting the ground. We're gonna get this car put back together. We're gonna take it for a little ride. We're gonna see what this 318 can do, all stock. But I want to say thank you guys for all your support. Thank you guys for all the great comments. Have yourself a great 4th of July holiday. Enjoy your family and get some sun. I'm Brad. I'll see you next time. Later.